Welcome to the Daily Decant, your 5-minute briefing on the world of wine. Each episode delivers practical insights to help you choose, order, and talk about wine with more confidence in everyday social settings. Let's get into today's decant. If you like Malbec, try Carménère. Malbec has become a favorite for a lot of wine drinkers because it checks so many boxes at once. It's dark fruited, smooth, generous, and easy to enjoy. It feels substantial without necessarily feeling too formal. It works for steak nights, dinner parties, gifting, and restaurant meals where you want something that feels dependable and satisfying. So if Malbec is already in your comfort zone, Carménère is the smart next bottle to know. Carménère is often closely associated with Chile, and it often appeals to people who already like fuller, softer reds. In the glass, Carménère usually brings black fruit, plum, dark cherry, and cocoa, along with an herbal note that often makes it stand out. Sometimes that comes through as green pepper, dried herbs, or a savory edge that gives wine a little more personality. That savory note is one of the reasons it's so interesting. Malbec often wins people over with its plushness and fruit. Carménère can give you some of that same satisfaction, but with an added layer that makes the wine feel a little bit more distinctive. It's still approachable, it's generous, but it often feels just a little more complex and a little less obvious. Socially, Carménère is useful because it works in many of the same moments where people normally reach for Malbec. It's great with grilled meats, burgers, roasted vegetables, hearty weeknight dinners, and gatherings where you want a red that most people will enjoy. It can also be a strong restaurant order when you want something rich enough for the meal but not as predictable as Cabernet or Malbec. It's especially helpful when you want to seem a little more adventurous without taking on a real risk. That's a powerful category in wine. A lot of the best wine choices live in that middle space between familiar and new. They let you stretch your palate while still feeling confident about the outcome. Carménère does that very well. It also gives you a useful conversation point. Many people have heard of Malbec. Fewer people are familiar with Carménère. That means it can be a fun bottle to introduce at dinner or recommend to someone who says they like fuller reds. It sounds interesting, but not so unfamiliar that it feels inaccessible. And that matters. So the goal is never to impress people with obscure knowledge. The goal is to have a few smart, usable recommendations that make wine feel easier. One memorable fact about Carménère is that although it's become closely tied to Chile, it originally came from Bordeaux. That little detail gives it a nice story and makes it easier to remember. It also explains why the wine can feel both polished and earthy at the same time. If you're someone who already enjoys Malbec, trying Carménère is not a hard leap. You're still in the world of dark fruit, smooth texture, and food-friendly reds. You're just adding a little herbal character and a little more edge. That can be especially helpful when you're choosing wine for a group. A bottle of Carménère can feel familiar enough for casual drinkers, but interesting enough for people who pay more attention to what's in the glass. That's a very useful sweet spot. So the next time you're about to grab Malbec out of habit, take a second and look for Carménère instead. It may give you the same comfort and generosity you want while helping you expand your palate in a way that feels natural and low pressure. So here's your takeaway for today. If you like Malbec, try Carménère when you want a red that feels dark fruited, smooth, and savory, but with just a little bit more distinction. It's a strong next step for anyone building more range with red wine. That's today's Daily Decant. If you found this helpful, be sure to subscribe and share with your friends so you can continue building your wine knowledge in just a few minutes a day.